The morning my husband served me divorce papers, I was elbow deep in bread dough, lost in the familiar rhythm of kneading that had always brought me peace. The yeasty aroma mingled with cinnamon and vanilla, a symphony of scents that made Holland Hearth Bakery feel like home for the past 33 years of my life. I'm Oakley, and this bakery has been my sanctuary since before I could reach the countertops. My parents built it from nothing, and now it's mine. Every creaky floorboard, every worn mixing bowl, every recipe card stained with butter fingerprints. "Morning, boss," Marley called out, rushing past with a tray of fresh croissants. "The morning rush is starting." I smiled, watching the usual crowd filter in. Mrs. Peterson ordering her daily sourdough, the high school kids grabbing muffins before class. The comfort of routine wrapped around me like a warm blanket. The bell above the door chimed at 11:47 a.m. I looked up, expecting to see another regular customer. Instead, my husband James stood there, his suit pressed too perfectly, his expression unnaturally rigid. "James?" I wiped my hands on my apron. "You never come by this early." He didn't smile, didn't move toward the counter for his usual kiss. Instead, he pulled out a thick manila envelope from his briefcase. "What's that?" I asked, though something in my gut already knew. "Divorce papers," he said, loud enough for everyone to hear. The bakery fell silent. Even the espresso machine seemed to hold its breath. I forced a laugh. Very funny. "Now, do you want your usual chocolate?" "I'm serious, Oakley." He placed the envelope on the counter between us, like a barrier. "I'm in love with someone else." The bell chimed again. My sister Trinity walked in, her face flushed, wearing the dress I'd complimented last week. She moved to stand beside James, their fingers intertwining. My world tilted sideways. "We didn't mean for this to happen," Trinity said, her voice small. "It just did." The mixing bowl I'd been holding slipped from my grasp, clattering against the floor. Marley rushed forward to clean it up, but I barely noticed. "How long?" The words scraped against my throat. 8 months, James answered. 8 months. While I'd been planning our anniversary dinner. While Trinity had been helping me choose new curtains for our house. While we'd all sat around Mom's Sunday dinner table playing Happy Family. "We wanted to tell you properly," Trinity continued, "but there's never a right time for telling your sister you've been sleeping with her husband." The words came out sharper than any knife in my kitchen. Customers were staring now, phones discreetly recording. Tomorrow, everyone in our small town would know. The thought made me want to vomit. "I'll move out tonight," James said, as if he was doing me a favor. "Trinity and we're getting married in 3 months." The laugh that burst from my throat surprised even me. "Married? Here?" Trinity nodded, her eyes wide with fake innocence. "The bakery means so much to both of us. You thought you'd celebrate your betrayal in the same place you engineered it?" I looked between them. "How many times did you sneak into my office? How many kisses did you steal between deliveries?" James had the decency to look away. Trinity didn't. "Sign the papers, Oakley," she said. "Let's handle this like adults." I picked up the envelope, feeling its weight. The weight of my marriage, reduced to legal documents. The weight of my sister's betrayal, typed in neat paragraphs. Like adults? I smiled, and something in my expression made Trinity step back. "Congratulations on your engagement. I hope you choke on your wedding cake." I turned away, heading for the kitchen where no one could see my hands shake. Behind me, I heard James calling my name, heard Trinity's heels clicking on the floor as they left. Marley appeared at my side, her young face twisted with concern. "Oakley, I'm so sorry. Do you need anything?" I looked at the wedding order book on my desk, then at the stack of recipes my father had left me. His voice echoed in my head. "The secret to perfect pastry is patience, precision, and timing." "Actually," I said, my voice steady, "I need you to clear my schedule for the next 3 months. I have a wedding cake to plan." News travels fast in small towns, but betrayal travels faster. By the next morning, my phone had exploded with messages, and the bakery's front window became a fishbowl of curious onlookers. "They're calling it the Great Bake-Off Breakdown on Facebook," Elisa said, scrolling through her phone while we prepped the morning's pastries. Someone posted a video. Wonderful! I kept my eyes on the croissants I was shaping. Now the whole town can watch my marriage crumble in HD. The bell chimed and Mom walked in. Her face carried the weight of sleepless nights and her usually perfect hair was hastily pulled back. Oakley, honey. She reached for me, but I stepped back. If you're here to defend Trinity... I'm not defending anyone, she interrupted. I don't understand how this happened. Under my own roof, during our Sunday dinners, I slammed the rolling pin down harder than necessary. Maybe you should ask your younger daughter. She seems to have all the answers lately. She's still your sister. No, I turned to face her. Sisters don't do this. Sisters don't... The bell chimed again. A group of women from the country club walked in, their expressions hungry for gossip rather than pastries. I plastered on my professional smile. Welcome to Holland Hearth. What can I get you today? They ordered coffee and scones, their eyes never leaving my face. I heard one whisper, She seems so calm. I'd be a wreck. If they only knew. Later that afternoon, Marley called me to the back office. Oakley? I found something while cleaning the proofing cabinet. She handed me a folded piece of paper, wrinkled and spotted with butter stains. My hands trembled as I opened it. My dearest Jay, I read aloud. Another Sunday dinner pretending. Another night watching her ignore you while she fusses over her precious bakery. You deserve better. Meet me at our usual spot? T. Bile rose in my throat. I remembered that Sunday. I'd been testing new recipes for James's birthday cake. There's more, Marley said quietly, pulling out a stack of papers from behind a filing cabinet. They're everywhere. Letters, emails printed out, hotel receipts, a timeline of betrayal hidden in my own bakery. She doesn't even notice us under her nose, one note read. Maybe she doesn't care anymore. The paper crumpled in my fist. How long have you known about these? I just found them today, I swear. Marley's eyes were wide. But there's something else. I've seen them before. In the office. Late at night when you were gone. My phone buzzed. A text from Trinity. Can we talk? James and I want to discuss the wedding plans. We still want you to make the cake. Before I could respond, Elisa snatched the phone. Oh, hell no! You're not seriously considering it? I took my phone back, staring at the message. Actually, I am. Have you lost your mind? No. I picked up one of the letters, reading it again. I'm finding it. They want their perfect wedding at my bakery? Fine. But they'll get the cake they deserve. Elisa studied my face. What are you planning? Nothing illegal. I smiled, and it felt different, sharper. Just a recipe adjustment. The bell chimed again. This time it was a tall man I recognized as a regular, Xavier. He ordered his usual black coffee and lemon bar, then hesitated. I heard what happened, he said softly. For what it's worth, you deserve better. I nodded, not trusting myself to speak. After he left, Elisa nudged me. He's been coming in more often lately. Don't start, I warned. I'm not ready for that. No, she agreed. But you're ready for something. I can see it in your eyes. I gathered the letters, receipts, and emails, storing them carefully in a folder. Each piece of evidence was a layer in the cake I was already designing in my mind. You know what my dad always said about baking? I asked, running my fingers over Trinity's handwriting. The key to a perfect dessert is timing. Too soon and it's raw, too late and it's burnt. And what's the right timing for revenge? Elisa asked. I thought about Trinity's text, about their wedding plans, about their perfect day in my bakery. 3 months, I said, just long enough for the flavors to develop. 6 tiers, Trinity announced, spreading wedding magazines across my workspace. White fondant, gold accents, and those sugar flowers you're famous for. I nodded, sketching in my design book while James shifted uncomfortably beside her. They'd chosen a Tuesday morning for the cake consultation, probably hoping to avoid prying eyes. They were wrong. My regulars had mysteriously developed a sudden passion for Tuesday morning pastries. And you're sure about this? James asked, his eyes darting between Trinity and me. Having Oakley make the cake? Of course! Trinity's smile was too bright. She's the best baker in 3 counties. Besides, it shows everyone we're past all that unpleasantness. Unpleasantness. That's what she called destroying my marriage. I'd be honored, I said, matching her fake smile. In fact, I have some innovative ideas for the internal structure. A knock interrupted us. Naomi, James's former assistant, stood in the doorway, clutching a folder. Sorry to interrupt, she said, not sounding sorry at all. Oakley, those special documents you requested about cake construction? James stiffened. Last month he'd fired Naomi after she'd tried to warn me about the affair. Now she worked part-time at the bakery, handling our paperwork. Perfect timing, I said. Leave them on my desk. Trinity leaned forward, examining my sketch. What's this hollow section in each tier? Structural support, I explained. It's a new technique I'm developing. Helps the cake stay stable. Whatever you think best. Trinity patted my hand condescendingly. We trust you completely. After they left, Elisa emerged from the kitchen. I thought I was going to choke holding in my laughter. We trust you completely? If they only knew? Pass me that folder Naomi brought. I opened it, revealing more printed emails and photos. She's been collecting evidence since before James fired her. Are you sure about this? Elisa asked, watching me sort through the papers. It's not too late to just tell them no. They chose my bakery for their wedding. My bakery, where they had their secret meetings, where they plotted behind my back. I held up a hotel receipt. They even used the business credit card I shared with James to pay for their rooms. Classy. I pulled out my special design notebook, the one with hollow compartments and hidden chambers sketched into each tier. Every layer will tell a story. The bottom tier, their early emails. The second, hotel receipts. Third tier gets the love letters. Fourth holds the credit card statements. Fifth has the photos Naomi took of their business lunches. And the top tier? I reached into my desk and pulled out a flash drive. Everything. Set to display on the wall behind them during the cake cutting. You're terrifying, Elisa said admiringly. I love it. The rest of the afternoon passed in a blur of calculations and test runs. I needed each compartment to be perfectly sealed, each document protected from the cake itself. The timing had to be perfect. The reveals coordinated with the traditional cake-cutting ceremony. Boss? Marley called from the kitchen. Someone's here to see you. Xavier stood at the counter, looking more dressed up than usual in a business suit. Hey, I was wondering if you'd like to grab coffee sometime. Not here, obviously, somewhere else. For a moment I was tempted. He was kind, attractive, and clearly interested. But I can't, I said softly. Not yet. I need to focus on other things. He nodded, understanding in his eyes. The offer stands, when you're ready. After he left, I returned to my workstation. A half-finished sugar rose sat before me, its petals translucent and delicate. With careful movements, I hollowed out its center, creating a perfect hiding spot for the flash drive. That's beautiful, Elisa commented. And deadly. Like all the best things, I agreed, holding the rose up to the light. Inside its crystalline petals, the flash drive waited like a ticking bomb. You know, Elisa said, most people just get drunk and key their ex's car. I placed the rose carefully in its box. Most people don't have access to their ex's wedding cake. The bell chimed again. Mom walked in, looking worried. Oakley, are you sure about making their cake? Nobody would blame you for refusing. I thought about the hollow rose, the hidden compartments, the perfectly timed revelations waiting to unfold. Trust me, Mom, I said, closing the box. This is exactly what they deserve. You always get everything, Trinity's voice echoed from my childhood memories as I worked on another test cake. She'd screamed those words at me on her 16th birthday when Mom gave me the car. Not because I was favored, but because I needed it for early morning bakery deliveries. Oakley? Marley's voice pulled me back to the present. The fondant's starting to tear. Thanks. I adjusted my pressure on the rolling pin, getting lost in thought. Can I ask you something? Marley fidgeted with her apron. What you're planning? Is it worth it? Before I could answer, Trinity burst through the door, James trailing behind her. We need to change the design, Trinity announced. I've been looking at Pinterest, and I want something more modern, less traditional. I set down my rolling pin. We finalized the design 3 weeks ago. Well, I changed my mind. She pulled out her phone. Look at these geometric patterns. Much more sophisticated than those old-fashioned flowers you love so much. Old-fashioned. Like me, she meant. I thought about another memory. Trinity ripping up my college acceptance letter before I could see it, claiming the mail got wet. The flowers stay, I said firmly. They're structural elements. The cake's already in progress. James touched Trinity's arm. Babe, let's not make waves. The design is beautiful. Of course you'd say that, Trinity snapped, still trying to protect her feelings. The kitchen fell silent. Even the ovens seemed to hold their breath. I need to check the proofing drawer, Marley mumbled, escaping. I watched my sister's face, seeing the same jealous teenager who'd accidentally spilled bleach on my first chef's coat. This isn't about the cake design, is it? Everything's always about you, Trinity hissed. Poor, perfect Oakley. The responsible one, the talented one, the one who got the bakery. Got the bakery? I laughed. I worked here every day since I was 14. Where were you? Living my life. Not stuck in this flower-covered prison. James stepped between us. Ladies, please. Shut up, James, we said in unison. Trinity's eyes narrowed. You know what? Keep your precious flowers. Just remember who's getting the happy ending. After they stormed out, Elisa emerged from the pantry. Well, that was intense. She hasn't changed, I said, returning to my fondant. Still the same Trinity who told my first boyfriend I had an STD. Boss? Marley peeked around the corner. There's someone here to see you. It's Naomi. James's former assistant looked nervous as she approached my workstation. I need to tell you something. I'm the one who first tried to warn you about them. What do you mean? Last Christmas, I left an anonymous note in your coat pocket about checking James's phone, but Trinity saw me do it. She took it before you found it. My hands stilled. That's why James fired you? Naomi nodded. Trinity convinced him I was trying to cause trouble, but I kept gathering evidence just in case. She pulled out her phone, including this video from the office security camera. The footage showed Trinity and James in my office after hours, laughing as they read through private papers on my desk. My hands curled into fists. Send it to me, I said quietly. It'll make a nice addition to the top tier. After Naomi left, Xavier appeared with his usual coffee order. Rough day? Just family drama. I managed a small smile. Still holding that coffee date offer? Always. He hesitated. But maybe wait until after whatever you're planning? I've seen that look before, in my sister's eyes, right before she destroyed her cheating ex's life. I raised an eyebrow. Should I be worried that you've figured me out? Worried? No. He grinned. Impressed that you're more interested in revenge than coffee? Maybe. For the first time in weeks, I felt a genuine laugh bubble up. Revenge first, coffee later. It's a date. He turned to leave, then looked back. Just be careful. Revenge is like baking. One wrong measurement can ruin the whole recipe. I watched him go, then returned to my work. The sugar flowers were coming along perfectly, each one hollow, each one ready to play its part in the grand reveal. Wrong measurement? I whispered to myself, inserting another damning letter into a crystallized rose. Oh no, my measurements are exactly right. The week before the wedding arrived with a tension so thick you could cut it with a pastry knife. Every surface in my kitchen was covered with wedding preparations. Sugar flowers, fondant sheets, and test cakes that looked perfect on the outside but held secrets within. The rehearsal dinner desserts are ready, Elisa announced, boxing up dozens of seemingly innocent cupcakes. Each one contained a tiny quote from Trinity and James's love letters, printed on edible paper and buried in the filling. You're really doing this, Mom said from the doorway, making us both jump. I kept hoping you'd back out. Did you hope Trinity would back out of sleeping with my husband? Mom flinched. I failed both of you somehow. No, I said, softer now. Trinity made her choices, and now I'm making mine. The rehearsal dinner was at the local country club. I arrived with the dessert cart, watching Trinity hold court among her bridesmaids. She'd chosen a white dress for the occasion, a preview of tomorrow's main event. "The cupcakes look amazing," Trinity gushed, playing the gracious bride. "See? I told everyone we're past all that drama." I smiled, serving her the first cupcake. "Try it. I used a special recipe." Trinity bit into it, frosting catching on her upper lip. Her eyes widened as she hit the center, pulling out the small strip of edible paper. Her face went pale as she read her own words. "He never loved her like he loves me." "Something wrong?" I asked innocently. James appeared behind her. "Everything okay, babe?" Trinity crumpled the paper in her fist. "Fine. Everything's fine." But it wasn't. As more guests bit into their cupcakes, more messages emerged. I watched from the kitchen doorway as whispers spread across the room. "Oakley." Elisa grabbed my arm. "Trinity and James are fighting in the hallway." I followed the sound of heated whispers to find them arguing near the bathrooms. "She knows," Trinity was saying. "I told you those letters would come back to haunt us." "Keep your voice down," James hissed. "She's just trying to rattle us. What can she actually do?" "I don't know, but she's planning something. Did you see her face when I bit into that cupcake?" I cleared my throat. They spun around, guilty faces illuminated by fluorescent lights. "More desserts?" I offered, holding out a tray. "No," Trinity snapped. "We're done here." "But tomorrow's the big day," I said. "Don't you want to know what's in the cake?" James grabbed Trinity's arm. "Let's go, now." After they left, Xavier found me in the kitchen, packing up the remaining cupcakes. "That was quite a show," he said. "The bride looked like she'd seen a ghost." "Just wait for tomorrow." He leaned against the counter. "You know, most people would have just said no to making the cake. Most people wouldn't have slept with their sister's husband." Fair point. He picked up a cupcake. "Mind if I try one of these famous desserts?" I watched him bite into it, waiting for him to find the message. His eyebrows shot up as he read it. "Missing you already. Last night was amazing." "Wow." He set down the cupcake. "That's intense." "That's nothing," I said, pulling out my phone to show him the video Naomi had sent. "Wait until they see what's in the actual cake." "You're really going to do this? In front of everyone?" "They chose my bakery for their wedding. They wanted an audience. They'll get one." Xavier was quiet for a moment. "Just make sure this doesn't destroy you too." "I'm already destroyed," I said, packing the last box. "This is me rising from the ashes." Back at the bakery, I worked late into the night, finalizing each tier of tomorrow's cake. Every layer was a perfectly timed revelation, every sugar flower a beautiful bomb waiting to explode. Elisa found me at midnight, still working. "You need to sleep. Tomorrow's a big day." I stepped back, admiring my work. The cake looked flawless, 6 tiers of pristine white fondant and delicate sugar flowers. No one would guess what lay beneath its perfect surface. "You know what's funny?" I said, inserting the last flash drive into the top tier's central flower. "They wanted a modern design, but they're getting something very traditional instead." "What's that?" "Just desserts. I wore white to the wedding. Not bridal white, baker's white. Crisp chef's coat, pressed pants, hair perfectly styled under my professional cap. I looked more put together than half the bridesmaids as I wheeled the massive cake into my bakery's reception hall. "It's stunning," Trinity gushed to her guests, though her eyes never quite met mine. "Oakley's outdone herself." "Anything for my sister," I replied, adjusting the top tier's sugar flowers. Inside each bloom, technology and truth lay waiting. Mom approached, wringing her hands. "Oakley, please tell me you're not going to—" "Mom!" Trinity called out. "Photos!" I watched them pose together, Trinity's arm around our mother's waist, the same pose from hundreds of family photos, except now it felt like a stock image, pretty but hollow. "Everything's ready," Elisa whispered, sliding past with a tablet. Naomi set up the projector behind the cake table. One click and— "Not yet," I murmured. "Timing is everything." The reception rolled on. Speeches were given, champagne flowed. James kept glancing at the cake like it might explode. He wasn't entirely wrong. Finally, the DJ announced the cake cutting. Trinity and James approached, all perfect smiles for the cameras. "Wait," I said, stepping forward. "Let me explain the design. Each tier represents something special." Trinity's smile faltered. "That's not necessary. The bottom tier," I continued loudly, "represents the foundation of your relationship. Would you like to cut it first?" James gripped the knife, slicing through the perfect fondant. As the piece came away, an envelope fell onto the plate. Trinity grabbed it, but not before several guests saw the hotel letterhead. "Moving up," I said cheerfully. "The second tier is about growth. Another cut, another revelation. Credit card statements this time, showing room charges and expensive dinners for two while I worked late nights at the bakery." "Oakley, stop this," James hissed. "But we're just getting started. The third tier is about communication." Trinity's hands shook as she cut. Love letters spilled out, their words visible to the crowding guests. "She suspects nothing," and "Meet me in the office after closing." "The fourth tier," I announced over growing murmurs, "shows your special moments." Photos cascaded down the cake's side, security camera stills of them in my office, in the storage room, against the filing cabinet where Marley would later find their letters. "You psychotic bitch," Trinity snarled, lunging for me. I stepped back, pressing a button on my phone. The projector hummed to life, displaying emails and texts on the wall behind them in giant, damning detail. "And the top tier?" I smiled. "That's the cherry on top." The final sugar flower cracked open, revealing a video playing on loop. Trinity and James laughing about their deception, planning their future while sitting at my desk after hours. Chaos erupted. Mom swayed, nearly fainting. Guests started recording on their phones. James grabbed Trinity's arm, but she yanked away. "This is your fault," she screamed at him. "You promised we wouldn't get caught." "Me?" James shouted back. "You're the one who couldn't wait to tell everyone about the wedding. I wanted to leave town quietly." "Quietly? Like when you fired Naomi for finding out?" I watched their relationship implode with the same precision I'd used to build the cake. Each layer of lies exposed, each deception carved open like a perfect slice. "Security!" James yelled. "Get her out of here!" "No need," I said calmly. "This is my bakery, and I've served my last course." I turned to leave, but Trinity grabbed my arm. "You've ruined everything." "No, Trinity, you did that. I just baked it into something beautiful." As I walked out through the kitchen, I heard Mom calling my name, guests exclaiming in shock, and the distinct sound of Trinity's mascara-stained sobbing. Xavier waited by my car, holding 2 coffee cups. "Thought you might need this." "Actually," I said, taking a cup, "I feel surprisingly okay. Ready for that coffee date now?" I looked back at my bakery, where Trinity and James's perfect day had crumbled like a stale cookie. Through the window, I could see Mom finally standing up to Trinity, years of enabling giving way to clarity. "You know what?" I smiled. "I think I am." The aftermath exploded faster than an overheated oven. Inside the bakery, chaos reigned as Trinity launched herself at James, her white dress now stained with cake and tears. "You promised we'd be different," she screamed, pounding his chest with her fists. "You said we were special." James backed away, straightening his tie. "Special? You were just convenient, Trinity. Like your sister, but easier." The slap echoed through the room. Mom finally snapped out of her shock, stepping between them. "Both of you, enough." Her voice carried an authority I hadn't heard since Dad died. "Trinity, how could you do this to your sister? To our family?" "Family?" Trinity laughed hysterically. "You mean Oakley's family? It's always been about Oakley." "Because she was here," Mom shot back. "While you were out partying, she was learning the business. While you were spending my money on clothes, she was investing in her future. You want to know why she got the bakery? She earned it." I watched from the doorway as Trinity's carefully constructed world crumbled. Her mascara ran in black rivers down her cheeks as she turned to James for support, but he was already backing toward the exit. "James?" Her voice cracked. "Tell them about our plans, the house we were going to buy." "There is no house," he said flatly. I lost the development deal last week. Nobody wants to work with me after this. Elisa appeared at my side, phone in hand. It's trending locally. Someone posted the video of the cake cutting. People are calling it the sweet revenge. Trinity overheard. She spun toward me, eyes wild. I'll sue you for emotional distress, for public humiliation. With what evidence? Naomi stepped forward, holding up her phone. The security footage of you trespassing after hours? The credit card statements showing you spent company money on hotels? The emails proving you deliberately set out to hurt your sister? James loosened his tie. Trinity, we need to leave. Now. Leave, but the gifts, the deposits, are gone, he snapped. Like my reputation, like your sister's trust, like everything else we destroyed for this. Whatever this was. The room had nearly emptied, leaving only family and close friends to witness the implosion. Mom sank into a chair, looking older than I'd ever seen her. I enabled this, she whispered. All these years, making excuses for Trinity's behavior. Trinity whirled on her. Of course, take her side again. No, Mom stood up. I'm done taking sides. Done making excuses. You need help, Trinity. Professional help. I need help? Trinity laughed. Oakley's the one who just destroyed my wedding. You destroyed your wedding, I said quietly, the moment you decided to have it here, in my bakery, where you betrayed me. James tried to slip out, but Naomi blocked his path. Leaving so soon? The police might want to ask about those misappropriated company funds. His face went pale. You wouldn't... The paperwork's already filed, she smiled. Consider it my resignation notice. Trinity crumpled to the floor, her wedding dress pooling around her like spilled cream. This isn't happening. This can't be happening. But it is, I said. And you know what the funny thing is? I didn't have to do anything illegal. I just served the truth, one layer at a time. Mom approached me slowly. Oakley, I'm so sorry for everything. I let her hug me, feeling decades of tension begin to unravel. Over her shoulder, I watched James finally flee through the back door, leaving Trinity sobbing on the floor. Come on, Elisa said gently to Trinity. Let's get you cleaned up. As they led my sister away, Xavier touched my arm. You okay? No, I admitted, but I will be. Through the window, I could see people gathered outside, phones recording. By tomorrow, everyone would know the full story. Not just about James and Trinity's betrayal, but about how the quiet baker got her revenge. You know, Xavier said, most people just post angry tweets about their exes. Most people don't have access to industrial mixers and food-grade edible paper. He laughed, then grew serious. What now? I looked around my bakery, at the scattered cake pieces, the projected evidence still playing on the wall, the stunned faces of remaining guests. Now? I smiled. Now I clean up this mess. And then maybe... coffee? Coffee sounds perfect, he said. Just promise me one thing? What's that? If we ever get married, let's have a simple cake. No surprises inside. For the first time in months, I felt myself truly laugh. Deal. The bell above the bakery door chimes as I pull another batch of karma cakes from the oven. They've become our best-selling item since the wedding incident went viral. Each one comes with a tiny scroll inside that reads, Justice is sweet. 4 more orders for next week, Elisa announces, checking her tablet. People are driving from 3 states away just to try them. And to meet the baker who served revenge at her sister's wedding, Marley adds, decorating cupcakes with precise, steady hands. She's gotten good, really good. The bell chimes again. Mom walks in, carrying a familiar-looking box. Found this in the attic. Thought you might want it. Inside are Dad's original recipes, his handwriting still clear and bold. A note falls out. Remember, sweetie, baking isn't just about ingredients, it's about integrity. He'd be proud of you, Mom says softly, not just for the bakery's success, but for standing up for yourself. Before I can respond, Naomi bursts through the door. James took a plea deal, 6 months for financial fraud plus full restitution to the bakery. And Trinity? I ask, though I already know. She's been sending weekly emails, alternating between apologies and accusations. Moving to Seattle, Mom sighs. Says she needs a fresh start. Maybe some distance will do her good. The morning rush begins, bringing in curious customers who pretend they're just here for pastries while sneaking photos of me. I've gotten used to it. Is it true? A teenage girl asks as I hand her a croissant. Did you really put evidence in every layer? The truth always rises, I say, making her giggle. Xavier appears at his usual time, but today he's carrying something, a small cake box from another bakery. Brave man, Elisa mutters, bringing outside baked goods in here. He sets the box on the counter. Open it. Inside is a simple chocolate cupcake with a question written in icing. Dinner tonight? Smooth, I say, trying not to smile. But your piping needs work. That's why I'm dating a master baker. He leans across the counter. Is that a yes? Yes to dinner, I nod. No to dating a man who buys cakes elsewhere. Deal, he grins. I'll pick you up at 7. After he leaves, Mom gives me a knowing look. He's nothing like James. No, I agree. He's not. The day continues, filled with the familiar rhythm of mixing, baking, and serving. But something's different now. The bakery feels lighter, cleaner somehow, like after a good spring cleaning. Hey, boss, Marley calls out. Remember when you taught me to make sugar roses? Of course. Think you could teach me how to hollow them out too? I laugh. Some techniques are better left for special occasions. The afternoon sun streams through our front windows, catching on the new sign we installed last week. Under Holland Hearth Bakery, it reads, Where sweet justice is served daily. You know what Dad used to say about karma? Mom asks, helping me close up for the day. That it's like yeast. It might take time to rise, but it always does. That, and it's best served fresh. She hugs me tight. I'm sorry I didn't see what was happening sooner. We all have blind spots when it comes to family, I say, hugging her back. As I wipe down the last counter, I find one of Trinity's love letters that we missed during cleanup. Instead of anger, I feel something else, pity maybe, or just relief. I crumple it up and toss it in the trash where it belongs. Ready for dinner? Xavier asks from the doorway. Almost. I look around my bakery, at the warm lights, the glass cases full of fresh pastries, the walls that have witnessed both betrayal and justice. Just need to finish one thing. I pull out a small box and hand it to him. Inside is a perfect chocolate cupcake with words piped in my best handwriting. Yes to dinner, yes to dating, no to settling for less than I deserve. He reads it and smiles. Now that's how you pipe a message. I take off my apron and hang it on its hook. Tomorrow will bring new recipes, new customers, new challenges. But tonight, I'm just a woman who rebuilt herself from scratch, one layer at a time. Let's go, I say, taking his hand. I'm hungry for something that isn't cake.